Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jessica. If you're new here, welcome to our happy little corner of the internet. So today, if you've not seen one of these videos floating around, you may be living under a rock, but I think Jamie Page is the one that started it. And it's just this idea of sharing what makeup I would have if I weren't a YouTube beauty guru. I am not a guru. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but you know what I mean. This was so much fun. I had a weird amount of fun with my coffee, going through my makeup collection back there and in my vanity, and really thinking about what would I have if I only had one foundation and one powder and, one primer? What are the things that I love so much that I'd be totally cool with using every single day in a world where, since this is my job to kind of review makeup and share dupes and the best, the worst, what I'm loving, what I'm hating, in the YouTube world, I kind of like to have options and ways to compare some things. And while I do try to keep my collection pared down, it's still larger than what anyone would ever need, And so it was really fun to really think about an alternate universe where I just have my one makeup bag of makeup. And I'm betting a lot of y'all watching have more than the average person too, because if you're sitting and watching YouTube makeup videos, you probably have more than what you used to have like before you discovered YouTube beauty videos. I know for me, before YouTube, I just had my makeup bag. Like that was normal. This is quite a roundabout way to say I'm excited to share with you all of these products. I picked the things that were my absolute favorites regardless of the price, regardless of whether they were super inexpensive or super expensive. These are my favorites. And of course, these are all products I would repurchase again. I love them that much. I am going to show you pretty much all of these in action today. You'll get to see me applying them so you can kind of see what they actually look like in application, what they look like after they're applied, in case you actually are interested in any of these. Of course, I always have links, prices, etc. down below. Okay. So first thing I would definitely have in my makeup bag is a facial SPF. My personal favorite and the one I know I'm gonna repurchase is the Paula's Choice one. I'll put a picture on the screen. It's so good. It's got a little bit of a tint and I feel like it's not super greasy looking. It does such a great job. I've bought it like 2 or 3 times and it's just my favorite. So that's the one I would have. The one I'm just currently using is the Murad Essential C SPF 30. I like it. It's okay. It's just not as good as that. This one's a little bit greasier as you can see, but it does do the job. And so I'm using this up. I just figured I would mention it. I don't know. This is where it gets interesting because I thought through my primers and I was like, okay, my favorite kind of primer is like a glowy primer, but I also know myself and most days I'm skipping right to the like foundation or BB cream step. But if I were really thinking, what primer do I think really does the job and does it well, like holds my makeup in place, I would probably have this one in my makeup bag. This is the Peter Thomas Roth Skin to Die For Primer. This is kind of more mattifying, which I actually don't really like, but it really smooths out, especially for me, my nose area. It kind of fills in pores. It evens the texture out a bit, and I really do feel like it helps with the longevity of my makeup. So this is one I've had for years. It's still going strong. Okay, the date on it is 24 months. I'm like, I think it's okay. It doesn't smell weird, so it's fine. It's fine, guys. It's fine. I love it, and I wanted to give it a shout out, and I feel like this is something that I've loved for a long time, and I really haven't given it much love on my channel, but I think it is fantastic and actually worth the money. So this is probably the primer I would have in my makeup bag. Foundation-wise, I have 2 because I don't care. I just have 2. I would have these 2. So for lighter coverage days, my favorite, you guys know, is the Missha BB Cream. I did hear they are reformulating it, which scares me. I'm like, please don't screw it up. But they're adding more shades, finally. So that is awesome. You can get this on Amazon, Yes Style, Walmart.com. You can get it in so many places. Okay, my gosh. I live in Indiana, and they're like, the Indy 500 is, I don't know what they're doing. I guess they're gonna do it, but with like less fans, and it is just like freaking front page news, and I'm not a race car person, so I'm just like, okay, like, can we calm down about it? I just adore this. The shade I wear is number 23, and I've gone through like 3 of these. This one is almost gone. It's kind of gray toned, which I know freaks people out, but I'm telling you, it just evens itself out. But on days that I want more coverage, one of my favorite drugstore gems is this Covergirl and Olay Advanced Radiance. It is this one in this particular packaging. There's another one in similar packaging that I have learned is not the same. So it's gotta be the purple with the Advanced Radiance because there's 2 different ones. I wear the shade 110 and this is an amazing, it's thicker when you kind of squirt it out. It seems weird, but it just makes the skin look like satin, like doll skin, and it covers really well. It stays really well, but my favorite way to wear it and the way I'm wearing it today is mixing these 2. So I love the idea that I've got like higher coverage, lighter coverage, and then I can mix them for like my perfect medium coverage. It's just so gorgeous on the skin, you guys. I can't express it enough. I know it's kind of high maintenance to have to mix things, but I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. It is so beautiful. So for concealer, I would have two for two purposes. Stay with me, I know. First is the Bobbi Brown Corrector. I have the shade Light Bisque. They have a bunch of different shades. This is the second one of these I've bought, and I love this. I used up the first because I can either apply it with my finger really quickly. You tap it in the darkest areas, and it perfectly cancels out blueness and purples, and it stays, and it's pretty, and it doesn't look crepey or weird or dry. If you have that problem, you have to try this. So this is what I use almost every single day, if I'm being honest, because it's quick, it's pretty, it's flattering, and it covers what I need to cover. However, on some days I do like a little bit more, and this is newer to me. I bought it a couple months ago, but I just, every time I try it, I'm reminded of how good it is. It's the Shiseido Synchro Skin Concealer. I'll show you me applying it. It is so easy to blend in. I definitely think it does best with a brush. It doesn't work well with a sponge, and I don't think it works that well with your fingers either. It really needs a good brush. Here I'm using the Hourglass concealer brush. That's kind of pricey, but it is really nice. There's one from Sephora I also love. I'll link both below if you're just curious. It blends in quickly. It stays so well, and it's one of those concealers that you can literally like tap it in throughout the day if it settles at all, and it just like blends right back in. It's so great. Sets pretty well with the powder, which we'll talk about my favorite here in just a second. And yeah, I can't recommend these highly enough. Oh, I need to like take a breather here. I'm like going so fast. I don't know why I'm talking like 1,000 miles a minute. Just chill out, Jess. Where's the race? So what would I naturally do now? Oh, I would set the under eye. So my favorite is this number 7 Lift and Luminate powder. It's $12.99. You can get it at Target, and I want to say Walgreens sells it too. This is the best under eye powder I have ever used. When you watch me applying it, you can see how it just flattens out that area and makes it look so even. It sets it, it doesn't budge. I've just never tried a powder that is this good. And it's so quick to apply because it's just, you know, a pressed powder. And so this is something I will repurchase again and again and again and again. I think it is the best. It's just so good, you guys. If you haven't tried it and you haven't been happy with other under eye setting powders, or you're just not happy with the way your under eyes look, this is the best one I've found. And I feel like that's something that even if you don't wear concealer, but you just want something to kind of, if you feel a little oily on your under eyes, or you feel like certain things like your bags are emphasized, this definitely kind of flattens it out just that little bit that makes it look a lot more seamless. So I feel like you could wear it alone without concealer too, and it will still have those smoothing properties. I'm like double fisting coffee and a green smoothie. And frankly, the coffee's winning out, and I might need to go get a refill here. So the next thing I would probably do next is brows. This is this $5 brow pencil from LA Girl. You can get it on Ulta's site and anywhere else LA Girl is sold. I wear the shade, I want to say medium brown. It's all worn off. I've bought like 7 of these. I go through them. I love them. It's a very simple, oh, actually this is the end of that one. So I bought like 5 backups. No worries, guys. It's just such a great brow pencil. And as I always say, really, there are so many good drugstore ones. Covergirl makes a good one. L'Oreal makes a good one. It's really just finding a shade match that works well for you. This one works really well for me. It's quick, it's easy. Ever since my brows grew in thicker, it made it darker because my brows were very, very naturally light, and I thought it was just the hairs themselves were light, but it really was that it was just, they were so sparse. I guess I never realized it because there was hair everywhere, you know. I started using this brow serum that is pricey. I can link it below, but you guys, it worked. My brows are so much darker because they're thicker, and I never thought I'd see the day. I was thinking about microblading and doing all this, and it was the best like 70 bucks I've ever spent. I still use it every night because I'm like, I'm sold. And so now I feel like I can just use a little bit of the pencil to fill in those areas, and it looks so good, and I love this one. I'm so creepy, I've realized. Like when people walk by my window, I'm like, and I like just like watch. Why do I do that? What am I looking for? It's just weird. I'm so creepy. Or I guess I'm just nosy. What would I naturally do next? I think I would do my eyes. I skipped eye primer. I don't really use it most days. It just kind of depends on my mood, and I feel like that would probably be something I just wouldn't have, you know? My hair's a little wild. I got rained on, and so this is just me dealing with it. Honestly, the eyeshadow quad I would have is this Charlotte Tilbury quad. Now, I did find a dupe, but since I just discovered it like 2 weeks ago and I just started trying it, I didn't feel confident like throwing it in here because I want to use it longer, but I am loving it. If you want to know what the dupe for this is, I can link it below. I can also link the video where I talk about it. I love this. I didn't tell you this is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk quad. They have another one that's like Pillow Talk palette of pops that's like all shimmers. That's not the one. This one's different. This quad is stupidly expensive, y'all. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's expensive. So I don't foresee myself ever buying this again. I would just stick with the quad. But this is like the first quad I ever tried that I was like, oh my gosh, I would naturally use every shade in this on my eyes comfortably. And it just kind of switched something in my brain to where I was like, why do I keep buying these giant palettes where I only use the same few shades in it, you know, like a lighter shimmer or this, that, and the other. And so this really made me fall in love with little quads and little things where I'm actually getting the use out of it. So I'm wearing it today. I love putting the shimmer all over my eyes. And then I'll usually grab this like lighter dusty pink in the crease, and it's super light, but it works well with my skin tone. And then I like on some days to tap this little like glitter overcoat on top. And then some days, if I really have the time, I'll put on like this brown. But anyway, I love it. The dupe is fantastic, guys. It's like a killer dupe. This is what I would have. I literally had like 5 other things in my basket, and I was like, no, if I really only had one thing, this is what it would be. Liner wise, I kind of tossed a few things around, but I know no matter what, I would have a gel liner in my makeup bag. This is the one I currently have. I always just have one at a time. This is the Maybelline Eye Studio in like the blackest color. I could see myself having this. I could also see myself having the L'Oreal one. They're both honestly like the same product. I just buy whatever's cheaper at the time I'm buying it. It's really good. I love doing a nice thick black line on my upper lash. So this is how I do it. You know what I mean? I love it. Probably when I run out of this one, and I'm probably about 2/3 of the way through this, I'll probably buy the L'Oreal one next. I just think they're both great. And I just feel like gel liner is one of those things that the drugstore does it so well. You really don't need to spend the money, and I love that one. But I also like having a liquid liner to clean up the edge and kind of create a little mini wing. This is a one where I've toggled between a lot of different brands. I feel like there are a lot of good liquid liners out there. The one I currently have is the Maybelline Hyper Easy, and I really am enjoying it. It's a brush tip, which I typically prefer felt, but it's really good. So I could see myself buying this again. I loved for the longest time the Makeup Revolution Renaissance Flick, but I think they're discontinuing it, so I'm trying to find an alternative. So I really think this one is great. And then quickly mentioning for quick days, I know this is like overkill on liner, but liner's important to me. Okay. This Revlon Color Stay Micro was a new discovery a few months ago, and it is a really thin 1.5 millimeter liner. I've had the black one. I already used that up. I've got the brown one now. And for a quick day, just to kind of do a tight little line on the top, I use this every day. It is fantastic. This is a dupe for an Hourglass product. If you want to see, I did a dupes video like a month ago, and there are some fantastic drugstore dupes in that. I can link it up in the eye and down below if you want to watch it next, because wow, a lot of work went into finding a lot of those dupes, but they are incredible. Mascara wise, I toggle between a few. The L'Oreal Lash Paradise is one of my favorites. I really, really like it, especially on the upper lash line. It just creates this fanned out kind of soft effect. However, I think after this one, I'd probably buy the Essence Lash Extension Mascara. That's one of my all-time favorites. It stays on really well. It's just incredible. So those are kind of the two I think I would just toggle between. This is like turning into a long video. I didn't think it would be this long, but here we are. Powder-wise, I have 2 because I really think I would have a loose powder and a powder foundation. My favorite is powder foundation. I wear most days, especially if I just throw on a BB cream. These add extra coverage, and I love that. Plus, I like powder foundations for kind of touching up, especially my nose, where redness tends to peek throughout the day. This is my all-time favorite, the IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation one in the Illumination line. I have the shade Light, and it's just beautiful. It's still a powder. It's going to catch on to some like peach fuzz if you have it, but it looks the least powdery of the powders I've tried, and it just adds this coverage. It's pretty. It's got this slightly illuminating quality, but nothing over the top. Like there's no detectable shimmer or anything. It's just such a great powder. I'm still working on finding a true drugstore dupe. I found some that come close. Like the L'Oreal Creamy Powder Foundation is really good, but it's not quite as good as this, but it is really good. So if you wanted to save the money, that's close. But the loose powder I went with, and I want to explain why, is the Maybelline Fit Me loose powder. I have a lot of high-end loose powders I love, and they're transparent, and I like those, but I figured if I only had one, I love that this one has a little bit of color to it so that it actually adds coverage when I use it. When I'm using this Peter Thomas Roth primer in conjunction with like a loose powder over my foundation, there's such a powerhouse of like longevity. Like everything lasts so much longer. So I think this is an amazing powder. I feel like it adds coverage. It really blurs my skin a little bit. and it increases the wear time of my makeup. Hamilton's still stuck in my head, y'all. And I felt so validated the other day when I mentioned that. I had like some random like cabinet battle line in my head. So many of you guys were like, oh my gosh, for whatever reason, when I'm laying in bed, I'll have one random line just playing over and over again. I'm like, yes. And my husband, Tyler, same thing. Our friends Ben and Emily have said the same thing. Like they'll just get one line and it just, what is going on? Is this mind control? American history mind control. So bronzer wise, I ended up going with just a cream bronzer. I love powder bronzers too, but this is just one that I felt like kind of does it all for me, and it's the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer Stick in the shade Baked. I like that even though it's a cream bronzer, it stays all day long and it's really easy to apply. So I like applying it with my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. You can apply it directly to your face. Lately, I've been getting a little bit on the brush first and putting it on, and I just feel like it blends easily. It stays really well. It looks nice on the skin. Because it's not a powder, it doesn't like emphasize any weird textures I may have on my skin. You know, when you talk about bang for your buck, even though this is technically like more high end, you get a lot of product for the price. So it actually is a good deal if you break it down that way. Blush, I would definitely have the MAC Glow Play blush in my makeup bag. I didn't even pick a powder blush. I just went with this one. It's kind of similar to the Milk one where you can apply it so easily and it looks beautiful, but it actually stays. It's kind of a creamish, cream to powder, if you will. I have two shades. Honestly, I can't pick. This is the one I've had for a while and So Natural, and then this one I recently got in Cheeky Devil. Maybe I would have both. I mean, today I applied Cheeky Devil, which is this nice pink, and I just think it is so beautiful. It is so easy to apply and it can stay really, really even on the skin. Man, I don't know. I cannot stop using these. Incredible, incredible, incredible blush formula. Now, I was able to pick, you know, one line of blush, one bronzer, but I do have two different highlighters. And in my mind, they serve different purposes. So the one I'm wearing today is this powder one. It's the Essence Pure Nude Highlight. This is one that has been floating around on YouTube forever. So many people swear by it. It's funny, when I see this in videos of other YouTubers though, they have the same shade as me, theirs looks darker than mine. So I don't know what the deal is, but this is like the prettiest everyday highlight for me. It's quick to apply because it is a powder. I can just dust it. I'll even put it on my brow bone. I'll put it on the tip of my nose, above my brows there. And I just feel like it adds this beautiful glow to the skin that you can get heavy-handed. Like actually, I put a little more on than I think I typically do. But you can also do it lightly and it's so gorgeous. I get a weird amount of compliments when I wear this. And of course in my head, I'm like, thank you. Oh my gosh, this is like a $5 highlight. But I also figured I would have like a liquid highlight because I do love getting a little bit of a liquid highlight and tapping it into those same areas. And it just looks so beautiful. And this is one that I think is worth every penny. It is so beautiful the way it catches the light. It is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Beauty Light Wand. I have the shade Spotlight. I think they have a couple shades. And the packaging is interesting. It kind of gets everywhere. You have to remember to shut it. But it is the prettiest highlighter. Like I said, it catches the light in this way that just, you almost look like you're constantly in candlelight. And I just love that. I think there's something so romantic and beautiful about that. And you know, this is lasting me quite a while because you only use the tiniest amount. You do not need a lot. You could probably mix this with like your foundation and give that little bit of a glow factor if you wanted, or even with your primer or something. Lips was weirdly easy for me. I have one lip liner, one lipstick, and one lip gloss, and they all came to me really quickly. And I think it's because I thought, what lip products would I wear every day? So I didn't end up grabbing like a red lipstick, even though I do like red lipsticks and I would wear, but if I were really paring it down and just thinking, what would I use every day? These are them. So the lip liner would be the MAC lip liner in the shade Dervish. I think MAC lip liner formulas are fine. They feel a little dry, but they do stay in place, which is what you need. And this Dervish shade is the most perfect My Lips But Better color. It's insane. So I love this. I would repurchase when I run out. It's just fantastic for me. And then the lipstick is actually from MAC too, which when I was going through kind of surprised me because I'm not the hugest MAC lipstick fan, but I really like their Luster line. And this shade Patisserie, again, is the most beautiful kind of shimmery and moisturizing lipstick that is totally a My Lips But Better color. And I just think it flatters me so well. I've used probably about half of this up and I would buy this shade again. I just think it's wonderful. And then lip gloss, I toggled between a few, and this was maybe the harder decision here. I think I would have a Buxom lip gloss in my makeup bag because I have naturally very lined lips. And so because of that, I feel like sometimes throughout the day, my lips can just look dry, a little bit older. And the Buxom lip glosses that are plumping are just so good. They plump it just that little bit more where they don't quite look so textured. This one I currently have is in the shade Claire. And again, it pairs so beautifully with that lip liner and that patisserie lipstick. And so that's what I have on today, all three of them, of course. And I just think it's beautiful. This shade has like a little bit of shimmer to it, but Buxom does have shades that don't have shimmer in it either. But I just think those three are A, gorgeous together, but B, I would totally wear every day. That was so much fun. I feel, it's funny, I actually need to pack in the next few days. We're going to like a little remote cabin, just me, my husband, my 2-year-old, and then our dog. And I need to pack my makeup bag here in the next day or two. And I'm like, I mean, honestly, I could just grab all of these. And that might be exactly what I do because I literally have a full face and these are all my favorites. So I hope this was enjoyable for you guys to watch. I totally enjoyed doing this. Thank you, Jamie, for the idea. If you were into this video, there are so many people that have done this on YouTube. I have watched pretty much all of my favorite YouTubers do it, which is why I was finally like, okay, Jessica, you need to do it. Any videos I mentioned earlier on my channel, if you wanna watch, like my drugstore dupes video and a couple of my other favorites, I will link up in the eye and down below if you wanna watch those next. I'd love for you to subscribe and join our happy little corner of the internet. I upload 3 videos a week. I do beauty, I do lifestyle, home, vlogging, cooking, all kinds of stuff. And I'd also love to say hey to you on my Instagram. It is @itsjessicabraun, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.